Hello everyone and welcome to Valamore Things. Feel free to follow me to see more of my content. Thank you and I hope you'll enjoy the video. Hello guys and welcome back to another video. Today we're talking about the big score, aka the vault. So what's the big score? Basically the big score is an expansion within an expansion. It's a 40 card little expansion made all of mythic rares. 30 new cards and 10 reprints from the list that you can find in Outlaws of Junction packs. 1 out of 5 mythic rares that you might find in Outlaws of Junction packs are instead going to be one of the big score cards. The big score cards, aka the vault, are all things that are found within the vaults that Jace, Oko, Vraska, Tiny Bones, Kellan, Rakdos, and all the outlaws that we see in this picture are trying to find. So today we're going to talk about the top 5 cards for Modern that we might find within the big score. I will start out with number 1, which is obviously Simulacrum Synthesizer. So this thing here is a 3 mana artifact that says when Simulacrum Synthesizer enters the battlefield, scry 2. Whenever another artifact with mana value 3 or greater enters the battlefield under your control, create a 0/0 colorless construct artifact creator token with this creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact you control. Very much likely like Urza Saga and Urza's tokens. This thing is of course going to be very abusable in Affinity, and I know that you guys in the end are here for Affinity content, so I am super excited to be able to try out these cards. Unluckily, the price of Simulacrum Synthesizer online, but even in paper, is out of my reach at the moment, so you will have to wait for a bit of time. Maybe next week I will be able to rent a full playset, maybe. So how to trigger Simulacrum Synthesizer? This thing trigger every single time, no limitations, when an artifact with mana value 3 or greater enters the battlefield under our control. And Affinity has a lot of things that might trigger this thing. The first 2 are Sojourner's Companion and Mirror Enforcer, and I then think of Frogmite, which is very easy to trigger, but we have some other things that might trigger this thing. I forgot to speak about Needlecyst, but also Needlecyst costs 3 mana and is very much baseline in any Affinity list. But we also have Scale of Chisgoria, Tooth of Chisgoria, and Aloe Hopper that works exactly the same as Frogmite. And these things here have Affinity and the other one has Convoke. So we can make a lot of tokens and construct tokens and close out the game really fast with Simulacrum Synthesizer if this thing goes online. Also, it's not legendary, so we might be able to have 2 at the same time on the battlefield and close out the game really fast. The second card is Legion Extruder. So Extruder, whatever. A 2 mana artifact. When Legion Extruder enters the battlefield, it deals 2 damage to any target. And for an artifact, it's very good. It's similar to Pirate Spellbomb if you want, but you don't have to sack it. So this thing 10 stays on the battlefield. 2 mana, tap, sacrifice another artifact that can be whatever, I mean even a food token or whatever. Create a 3/3 colorless golem artifact creator token. And you can do this as many times as you want. So how can we exploit this? What's the shell for this thing? I think that you might want to play this around with Experimental Synthesizer, because whenever the synthesizer dies, leaves the battlefield, we exile the top card of our library and we may play that until the end of turn. So you get some value out of sacrificing the synthesizer. How to actually tutor up Legion Extruder and have it on the battlefield whenever you need it? Goblin Engineer is the best option that comes into my mind, and I think we can... I already see Aspiring Spike playing like one copy of Legion Extruder in one of his mono red decks with Galvanic Blast, the new Magda, with pretty much some decent results. So basically you tutor up Legion Extruder with Goblin Engineer, you put that into your graveyard, you then sacrifice whatever artifact you don't need, a treasure token or whatever, you bring back Legion Extruder, it deals 2 damage to any target, and you have a value engine whenever you need it, creating 3 colorless Goblin artifact creature tokens every single turn. So the next card is going to be Pest Control. So Pest Control here is much likely a sideboard card. Let's take a look at how many target this thing has. Hadron Crab, it's a staple in Mill, which is very popular lately. Ragavan, Monastery's Whisper, also very popular. Relic of Progenitus, Cookbook, Ornithopter, Memnite. Whatever token you might generate, treasures, food, whatever, with this thing, everything is gone. For only 2 mana. I mean, okay, you have white, which is not especially played lately, but this is pretty easy to have. I might think of, I don't know, Esper Reanimator or whatever that might need to get rid of, you know, Relic of Progenitus or other Soul Guide Lanterns or whatever, or even Construct tokens from Saga, Amulet of Vigor, whatever. Everything is gone. Utopia Sprawl, Arbor Elf, everything is gone. Delighted Elfling, Young Wolf, everything is gone. This thing is insane. And you can even cycle this, so this thing is very huge. This is going to see a lot of play in many sideboards. Next card, Lost Jite, or whatever is the name. So this thing here is basically nerfed Umezawa's Jite. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, deals combat damage, not to a player but even to a creature, put a charge counter on Lost Jite. If you remove a charge counter from this Jite, you may choose 1 out of 3 options. The first one is untap target land, and my first thought is, of course, use the Saga. The second thing is target creature cannot block this turn, and this might be huge. I can imagine creatures not being able to block a huge construct token in Affinity or whatever deck that synergizes with artifacts. The next thing is put a +1/+1 counter on equipped creature, which is not huge but also some kind of upside. Equip 1 is definitely right for this card, for this power level. And how to tutor up Lost Jite? Of course with Use the Saga. So as you can see, it's pretty easy to tutor up, pretty easy to use. I don't know if it's better than Shadow Spear, probably not, but this has some potential here. On with the next card. Bristlebud Farmer. So of course this guy here is not on the radar of many other YouTubers, but since I love playing food both in paper and online, when they printed this guy, I was so excited. So 4 mana, which is kinda a lot, not easy to achieve without Gilded Goose, I think, in a food shell. So it's a 5/5 trample. When Bristlebud Farmer enters the battlefield, you create 2 food tokens. So imagine this thing with Academy Manufacturer played the turn before. This is going to be insane. Whenever Bristlebud Farmer attacks, you may sacrifice a food. If you do, you mill 3 cards, you may put a permanent card from among them into your hand, so potentially triggering Insidious Roots if you're going to play Insidious Roots in this deck. Also, I love the art. Basically, this guy is a Giga Plant Druid that is going to wreak havoc into the battlefield. Also, look at those abs. This guy has been lifting. By the way, I'm super excited because, I mean, we can play Bristlebud Farmer. Assumingly we have another food token into play, we can sacrifice those tokens, bring back the Feasting Troll King, and in only one turn we're going to have 7 plus 5 trample power on the battlefield, which is going to be insane. Or if we have an Asmo, but they broke up our Underworld Cookbook, we don't have any food tokens, we play this guy, bam, 2 food tokens. We can instantly sacrifice them to the Asmo to get rid of one of our opponent's creator. So this thing has some potential. This was the 5th card, but I think we have to talk about one more card here. Or perhaps 2. So stay with me for a bit longer. The 6th card is Loot, the key to everything. So this guy here has the best art in the entire game. Look at this little beast, noble, cat, dog, whatever, with, I don't know, dressed up like a little cowboy. And also in the lore, this guy is like a multiverse key to traveling wherever you want in the multiverse, both in space and time. So this guy is insanely powerful creature. But let's not talk about the lore anymore, but let's talk about what Loot, the key to everything, actually does in a Magic the Gathering game. So 3 mana, 1 of each of the Tamur colors, green, blue and red. 1/2 body, word 1, which is not exceptional but also not bad. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top X card of your library, where X is the number of card types among other non-land permanents you control. You may play those cards this turn. So this thing here, if you can have this guy online for like 1 or 2 turns, this is going to be enough to win the game. But you have to play this guy in the proper shell and proper quantities. So I can see people playing like 1 or 2 copies of this thing in any domain zoo lists, because, I mean, you go like Leyline of the God Pact, Ragavan, Pass the Turn, Scion of Draco, whatever, you play this guy, and then you will have Enchantment, Artifact, and Creator, so, and Land, yeah, but it says non-land. So, you draw a card, and you also have 3 more cards that you can choose from and play from every single turn. This guy is a must removal. They must get rid of this guy instantly, or they will lose the game in like 2 turns. This is just so strong. No one is actually playing around this guy, and I might actually want to try this out in a pretty standardish, like, domain zoo list, cut 1 Nishoba, cut 1 whatever, play 2, loot, key to everything. And by the way, this guy is just, the art is just so cute. My girlfriend is mad about this guy. She told me, you must buy 1 of those, and I mean, we're going to put this at the entrance of our house, because this thing is just so cute. It's overloading cuteness. But we have to talk about playing Magic the Gathering, and I think this card here has some potential, and no one has been talking about him for like ever.